All right. Hello, beautiful people of the internet. My name is Shay, your favorite astrologer. And today we're going to be talking about Mars in Capricorn in 2033. It hangs out there for a while of this year. Also, my notes are a bit scattered for this one. So, y'all remember how terrible I am with notes. And so, this is probably going to be one of those times. Check my housekeeping in the comments for me. We're going to get started. I like to first talk about what Mars is briefly, which is action, war, determination, motivation, and work ethic. In Capricorn, it is about your social status. It is about your determination. It is the GOAT. It is being at the top of your game at all times. It is money and finance related. And let's face it, Capricorn is all about investments, not only investments in time because it is ruled by Saturn, but it's just general savings and things like that. So it goes into Capricorn approximately April 7th, 2033. Now remember, Mars does go retrograde back into Sagittarius for a short stint. So I discussed that briefly in the Mars and Sagittarius video. If you want to check the notes to be able to find that, I have a link to my astrology predictions playlist where I put all of these videos in as best of chronological order as I could, so you can find it there. Now, when Mars goes into Capricorn the first time around, it is going to be in its pre-retrograde shadow. What does that mean, Shay? Well, a pre-retrograde, so Capricorn, Mars in Capricorn is going to go retrograde during this phase. And the pre-retrograde shadow is basically showing you a sneak peek of what you're going to have to go back through and then learn again. So the shadow is basically the darkest part of what we're going to have to go through. So we're not in the retrograde. What's happening is you're getting the sneak peek of the darkest side of what this could entail. Well, what's the darkest side of Mars in Capricorn? It's being selfish to an extent, but greedy is kind of the better word. It's hoarding your wealth, it's hoarding your resources, it's not giving the people in your life the time that they need. It's taking time just for you. It's the Miss Independent. If Miss Independent did not give a flying F about anybody else in the world and acting for the self, for the status, for the money, all of that. So we have an opposition to Saturn and Cancer at 1 degree starting off. And mind you, Saturn and Jupiter are going to be trine between 3 and 6 degrees during this time as well. Let's start with the opposition to Saturn. Well, that is opposing. Saturn's home placement is in Capricorn, so this is opposing. Now, Saturn wants to take on the traits of Capricorn, but Mars does not want to take on the traits of Cancer, so this is going to be a Capricorn dominant alignment. This opposition is your decision. It's your free will to basically say, because Saturn in Cancer is the right thing to do, emotionally nurturing with your country, with how you are able to handle things in, I would say, the home, but it's more with your family and your mother and your parents, because Saturn in Cancer here Saturn is father time, and Capricorn has three different animals associated with it. So we, of course, have the goat of Capricorn, but we also have the sea goat, which translate to the sea horse. Now, something a lot of people don't register, it took me a long time to register it, is that the seahorses, the males, are the only species to carry the babies. So this is father energy, nurturing father energy when Capricorn relies on the seahorse energy that it has. Uh, and in this scenario, it's going to be about your parents, a decision with your parent, an active decision because Mars is action. So an active decision with your parents, which is Saturn, and nurturing your parents, and can't because Cancer is more motherly. It is the symbol of basically nurturing your baby and breastfeeding. So we have this parental decision that we are going to actively have to make, and is it aligning with our social status and the reality of our finances? So that Saturn in Cancer is going to be trine Jupiter in Pisces. This trine is a beautiful alignment because Jupiter in Pisces expands on being able to comprehend a much bigger picture. It expands on your intuition. It brings you luck with your addictions, with your sleep, with things that are harder to grasp in concept and in understanding. So this is a nice alignment to the Saturn and Cancer because at least we're going to hope that your parents and these people understand on a much broader scale where you're coming from and how this is affecting you with your finances, with your social statuses. So we're going to hope at least that they have a broad collective understanding of where you are emotionally, why this is affecting you, and be able to be humble about it and graceful during this time. Now, it's also an emotional decision that you've made with that opposition. So it's not that there's not going to be emotions involved. It's much, much deeper than that. Not, I don't think, as deep as Scorpio, but it is really deep energy of understanding, and it's not emotional relief. It's much deeper than that, and I'm not explaining it well enough, and I need to move on because I'm already way past, like, I'm at 7.5 minutes here and I've not even scratched the surface. We have then Uranus going back into Cancer, and then Mars retrogrades at 12 degrees approximately. um, let's see, the May 27th, 2033. Again, my notes are a bit scattered, so forgive me. Then at 9 degrees, Saturn has a sextile again to Jupiter, and this is going, then I have here at 7 degrees, that's June 24th to the 26th, 2033. My notes are scattered, so I'm going to kind of skip that. Chiron then enters Gemini. We July 10th, 2033, we have an opposition to Uranus and Cancer at 2 degrees. So now remember, Mars in Capricorn is retrograde. So this opposition, Uranus and Cancer, is emotional shocks and processing the trauma of Uranus in Gemini. This is creative with the family. So whatever bright ideas you have with your family and nurturing your environment and your creativity and your passions and the things that randomly come up, this is your decision whether you want to act for your social status for your job, or if you want to fall back on the things that you're passionate about and you care for, because those things in your life may be very conflicting at this time. This 2 degrees also symbolizes choices because 2 is choices in tarot and numerology, things like that. So you definitely have to decide, are you going to work for this money and for this status and for these things? Or are you finally going to fall inward and say, my passions and the things that I care about most, I'm going to value more now? And so this is the moment where you have to decide basically which self are you going to rely on? Are you going to rely on the passion, creativity, nurturing, and for your country, for your home, for your family, and for, having these creative spouts of ideas and emotions. You also still have emotions to process during this, because Uranus is going to flare up emotions. So taking your mental and emotional health into consideration during this time. Are you going to do that, or are you going to just dive into your work and dive into making sure that you're best off financially in order to survive? Like, this is a big decision that is going to be cathartic when you actually make it. Then we have Jupiter in Pisces retrograde trines Uranus in Cancer, another beautiful alignment. This is again expanding on this intuition. And the trine is, saying yes for your passions and for the things that electrify you and give you motivation with your family and with your children and with your mother, because Cancer is again about the mother. So these new ideas that you hadn't, this is new business territory that you really feel compelled to and you're drawn to. This is really beautiful. Mars then in conjuncts Chiron and Gemini between 0 and 1 degrees, because again, Mars is retrograde. So this in conjunct is irritating because Chiron is now more mental. Chiron is healing our mental health and not doing it well, because Gemini is duality. So you may feel like you're doing a Jekyll and Hyde, and you're healing both sides of your Jekyll and Hyde, which, good luck. So this in conjunct is your actions and what you're working for in your finances and stuff. And it's just now learning, because between 0 and 1 degrees. So this is a really big, hard, and now it's not as big and difficult as a square could be, because an inconjunct symbolizes a minor irritation. So but it's between 0 and 1 degrees. So this is a big minor irritation that, you're trying to heal your mental health and help other people heal their mental and emotional health, and you're in your head and you're trying to think about things differently, because we just had some alignments in a previous video I made where you completely change your perspective. So then you have Mars and Capricorn. I'm just trying to work here. I just work here, and I'm trying to be the boss. I'm trying to be the goat. I'm trying to get things moving along, and my brain is just scattered, and I'm in my head. So that's this alignment. Jupiter then retrogrades in Pisces, and this opposites Uranus in Cancer at approximately 5 degrees. So at this time, Mars has retrograded back into Sagittarius. Again, I have that video. And then it comes back through to Capricorn. It gets fully out of its shadow approximately September 17th, 2033. Jupiter goes back into Aquarius approximately September 20th, 2033. And then Mars semi-sextiles Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. Sorry, I didn't write down the degree, but this is a moment to learn. So here, Mars is learning from Pluto, which is retrograde, but that's not that big of a deal because it's retrograde for half of the year. So this semi-sextile says Pluto is teaching Mars that the collective is more important than your social status or whatever pecking order that we had. It's not going to be as meaningful as it used to be, like now in 2025. Now it's about, are you working towards the collective good? Because it is in Aquarius, which is collective good, and random as well. Not nearly as random as Uranus and Gemini was, but it's still, it's progressive, it's revolutionary. And Mars being the action in Capricorn social status, this work that you're doing must mean more, must have more value, must have more morals, must contribute more to the grander society than what you currently think it is that you're doing. We then have a square to Neptune retrograde in Aries, which is very difficult spiritually. This is a lump in your throat difficult because it is a square. And again, this is saying this is God, because Neptune is of the spirit and Aries is of the self and quick to anger, quick to forget. So this is God going, you sure you want to do that? You sure you want to have your social status and this work and this job matter more than me, which would be God? And so be very careful, my Capricorn friends and people with Capricorn placements, that you aren't prioritizing your finances and your work above spirit. Then we have an opposition again to Saturn. This time it is at 20 degrees. So Saturn in Cancer has gotten to 20 degrees already. My goodness. And we again see that this is the familial, especially with parents and grandparents, anything that is anybody that is considered a parental figure in your life. We again have this opposition to make a decision, active decision about work over family or family over work, which, is really up to you. I have a toxic family, so, take that for what you will. But then we have a semi-sextile to Jupiter in Aquarius retrograde at approximately 27 degrees. I love this because this is again building on society and our friendship networks and learning from our friends and learning that you're lucky to have these friends and you're lucky to have this community. Then Mars goes into Aquarius approximately October 18th, 2033. Thank you so much for watching. I am way past my time. Peace out, fam. Much love. Press all the buttons. Thank you. Bye.